How's it going, guys? Today I'll be showcasing a mono Ventus turbo deck profile that uses Ventus Webum Ultra, Ventus Trox Ultra, and Ventus Mantanoid Ultra. Let me get those more in frame. And for Webum Ultra's cores, I just use the best Magic Shield and Fist available, 650 and 150 plus 2. For Trox's cores, I use a 303 damage Helix and a 400 Aquas and Ventus Shield. And for Mantanoid Ultra, I use another 303 Helix and another 150 and 2 Fist. Now, for most of these, my reasoning behind choosing them is just that they're the best available right now to us as far as core bonuses go. But for the Helixes, I specifically chose these because both Mantanoid Ultra and Trox Ultra only have 1 damage. And if you played the 600 and -3 or the 500 and -1, you'd be getting no damage out of a win from either of these guys. So I figured it's better to win and get damage than to not get damage. So there's that. Let's get right into the deck now. So to start off, I play 3 Nature's Power. This is just an obvious choice. It's probably the best Ventus card in the whole game, or one of the best at least. It used to be the best 1 cost before Bakugan Resurgence came out, but it's still just a really solid turn 1 card. One of the best in the Ventus arsenal. I also play 3 Etropic Blast. It's 1 cost, -200, but if you have Turbo, you get -400 instead, and because this is focused on Turbo, you're pretty much always going to have that -400 effect. And this works on Ventus mirror matches as well, so that's really good. Next, I also play 3 Piercing Scream. This is just a really solid card. It's outclassed by Etropic Blast in this deck, but you really just play it to see more B-power affecting cards, as there are not a whole lot that are super good in the Ventus arsenal. So there's that. And lastly, I play 1 Deafening Roar and 1 Endless Growth. Deafening Roar is just in there for if you want to push for higher B-power reduction on your opponent later in the game. And Endless Growth is really there because it's just a really flexible card. If you win and your opponent doesn't open, you can use this for damage, for any amount of energy, or if you're pushing through in later game, you could pay like 10 energy and get 1000 B from this. It all just depends on what you want to use it for, but it's really flexible, which is why I think it's good. Next up, I play 6 damage reducing cards because early game, if you don't draw into the Etropic Blast or the Nature's Power, it's kind of rough to win. So to compensate for that, I play damage reducers just so you can push through and have enough left in your deck to bring Winton's effect out later in the game. So I play 3 Toxify just because it's 0 cost, completely free. It can destroy, or not destroy, but like it can pretty much eliminate all damage you might get in the first couple rounds. And I also play 3 Shell Shield. Shell Shield's really good in this deck particular because I'm using 3 Ventus Bakugan, which means that it's a 2 cost for -9, which is first off way above curve, second off excellent against team attacks or against Bakugan that have their evos out. So there's that. And what would a mono Ventus turbo deck be without action cards that encourage turbo? So of course, playing 3 turn to energy, just really good for getting Winton or evos out extremely early, and also 3 solar powered. In my opinion, I think this deck's greatest weakness is the fact that it's really low on rerolls. I can't wait for the possibility that Ventus gets another reroll that would hopefully be cheaper in Age of Orlis. But for now, this is what we've got, and it's also really good for helping with turbo. So there's that package. And lastly, for action cards, I play 2-1 with Nature. Really good against hero decks, which I think are up and coming in the meta, and really good against any Pyrus deck playing Dan, which is, I mean, if you're running a Pyrus deck and not playing Dan, you're doing something wrong. Anyway, let's get on to the flips. I played 2 Tiger Reflex, should be at 3, but 2 is all I've got. 3 Repel Outsiders, and 1 Photosynthesis. The Photosynthesis is really just there because I don't have a 3rd copy of Tiger Reflex. That's pretty much it, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Next up, we play 3 Winton Styles. Sorry about the proxy there in the back, I'm gonna hide it. Yeah, so if you don't see this at all in your game, I'll usually end up with 10 energy anyway, so your turbo is going to be online no matter what. It's just Winton perpetuates it, and more often than not, if you get 1 or even 2 Wintons out, you're going to see that 1500B by the last couple turns of the game. So there's that, and lastly we have our Evos. I played 2 of each. 2 Maximum Webum Ultra. Maximus Webum Ultra. I'll usually play this guy last in the rotation. I'll prioritize Trox Ultra or Mantanoid Ultra first, but Maximus Webum Ultra is really good for just pushing late game with that 14 damage. This guy I'll go for first usually. Hyper Mantanoid Ultra at 2. It's just really good under turbo. It can push through flip cards. It can, I mean, you get enough energy cards, your damage is going to be at least 11. So, and it's only a 4-cost Evo, so that's really good. And lastly, 2 Titan Trox Ultra. If you manage to have him out with Winton, it's basically a turn win. There's very little in the game that can get up to higher than 2020 before action cards or anything I played. So that's just really good. And that's it for the deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know, just personally, I've been playing with this deck a lot recently, and it's really fun to play. It can struggle early game, but by late game, you just have so much more in terms of resources than your opponent that you can usually survive well into the game and steal some victories. So let me know if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more content from me, and we'll see you next time.